Welcome to episode number 31. I love the comments y'all starting to put out about the last episode, which was epic. And there will be Ronnie Van Zant episode 2, part 2 coming up sometime soon. But tonight, we've picked another band in the series that we're calling The South's Gonna Do It Again, based on everybody who was in that famous song. So tonight, Joe, who do you want to do?
It's Marshall Tucker Band.
Why not Marshall Tucker Band? You just picked that out of the blue, didn't you?
Just pulled it out of my hat.
Yeah, why not Marshall Tucker Band? Who, I always want to say they're one of my favorites because everybody we talk about, if we're talking about you on this show, it's one of my favorites. So
we love the band, we love the music,
yeah.
We love the players.
So it's ridiculous not to say that. Okay, Marshall Tucker Band came out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. I lived in that area for a while, and it's fertile with music. I mean, it's a pretty cool place. But it was basically came out of a bunch of friends who all went to high school together in Spartanburg, with Toy Caldwell being the main guy. So let's just start off. Well, I'll tell you, let's go through the whole band first.
They were in school with George McCorkle.
So, I mean,
right? Yeah.
All these guys, I mean, Tommy was 2 years younger. Well, so it's Toy Caldwell. Chief songwriter, most of the records during the 70s. He wrote almost all the songs. Doug Gray, that great vocal of it. When you hear Marshall Tucker and you hear Doug Gray singing, it's a signature type deal, right? I mean, I don't know how great his voice is, but it is Marshall Tucker, right? And you recognize it, right? It's a very recognizable, great singer, in my opinion. Jerry Eubanks, another one of their buddies, keyboards, played the sax, and the main instrument in the band. Another thing that kind of lets you know who it was the flute.
Flute.
What other rock band, had a flute leading it?
Jethro Tull. Jethro
Tull. Can you believe that rock in the early 70s, there were flutes involved? I would have never thought it. George McCorkle was a buddy. I think he was a year older than Toy. Rhythm guitarist, wrote a little bit. Wrote one of my favorite songs for him. We'll get to that later. Drummer Paul Riddle, very good drummer. Again, he was the young guy in the band. He was 7 years younger. 6 years younger than Toy.
That's a big deal.
He was born in 53. And then probably the most underrated member of the band was Tommy. Tommy Caldwell, Toy's brother, was a bass player. He was born in 49, I think, 2 years younger than Toy. I've seen people talk about the way he played bass. It almost reminds me of Barry Oakley. Mm-hmm. That style, kind of the role. It's very interesting. So if you really dig into a lot of these songs, because they're also, I'm going to call them a progressive Southern rock. And I say that because they're kind of like almost a jam band of Southern rock, with kind of bled out of the Allman Brothers a little bit, because the Allman Brothers had a relationship with the Grateful Dead. And Dwayne and Jerry Garcia knew one another. We'll talk about that later. But then you got these guys who are more country tinged, though.
A little bit of everywhere here.
Yeah. And Toy Caldwell's style of guitar playing,
that's a style right there.
Comes from Bob Wills.
Bob Wills Band, that's right.
Bob Wills was a Texas Playboy, something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like chicken picking.
It's different. You watch him play guitar, it's very different.
And because Toy used his thumb, and he would use it as a pick, but he also used these two fingers too on those bottom two notes. If you ever watched Toy play, it's amazing style. I mean, I always thought Lindsey Buckingham had a really unique style, but Toy was really unique. And it's just, who knows where he got that from, but very, very cool way to play. But he was an awesome guitarist. I don't think, of course, he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It bothers me a little bit.
Not as much as, it's not that big a deal. It's no deal.
That's right. No,
it's just
cares?
Not a big deal.
Who cares? Who cares? Drew Lombard's not in it either. So I'm okay with it. But as a writer, tell me about Toy.
Toy Caldwell is a songwriter extraordinaire. I mean, he wrote 95% of these songs
or more. I mean, all these songs by Toy Caldwell. I mean,
you look at the albums, all songs, Toy Caldwell.
Toy Caldwell, can you believe it? Another winner for Toy Caldwell. I mean, now Here in Carolina Dreams was really the first one where we saw some things written by other folks in the band. It's kind of where George McCorkle made his entry into it, right? With my favorite song.
Pretty good song.
But he didn't even write it for the band. Did you know that?
He wrote it for somebody else?
He wrote it for Charlie Daniels. Because Charlie Daniels had an album called Fire on the Mountain. And for whatever reason, George was inspired to write a song for Charlie Daniels.
Well, he turned it down for that album because it didn't fit. He didn't fit his theme or whatever he said.
I forget what Charlie said there. We
talked about that.
Yeah, in an interview. But what a great song!
I mean, it's a long lifer right there.
Oh my God,
that's forever song. Forever song you're going to hear forever.
Now, I saw Ray Stevens one time. Y'all probably don't know who the hell Ray Stevens is. But Ray Stevens said, a few years ago, a guy said, here's a song I want you to record. And it was a song called Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. He said, I listened to it, and I said, no, I got a better song than that. So I'm going to play you the song that I recorded instead of that. And he played some song I'd never heard before. And that was the whole point. It was a terrible song. But Raindrops Kept Falling on My Head was recorded by B.J. Thomas, went on to become Song of the Year worldwide. and Ray Stevens had a shot at it, but, didn't do it.
Wasn't Ray Stevens like, Ethel, look out, Ethel, here he comes?
Well, he had his big, it was Everything is Beautiful in Its Own Way. That was his, he had some gimmick songs. The Streak, he did The Streak, for
Look out, Ethel.
Yeah, he did The Streak. We're off track. Marshall Tucker Band. So they wound up getting their start opening for the Allman Brothers, which again makes sense, makes a whole lot of sense. So they opened some big venues for the Allman Brothers. I forget, I saw an interview with Toy one time. He said, I don't even know how many times we opened up for the Allman Brothers. It's amazing. So it's one more connection, right? They were one of the first artists to sign with Capricorn. Phil Walden was their manager. They recorded on Capricorn while Capricorn was in business. Let me think what else I can tell you about Tragedy.
More Tragedy. Who funk it?
Talk about it.
Well, I mean, the two brothers, Tommy and Timmy. I don't think they're, his two younger brothers, they died a month apart from each other. And I don't think he took it very well. They died exactly to the day a month from each other.
Was that 1980? It was 80, wasn't it?
I don't know the exact time.
Tommy Caldwell died in 1980. That's true, because I remember where I was. I was living in Memphis State. So that's true. But what's interesting about that is that after Tommy left the band, the success was gone. And Toy's writing was gone. And you can say that Southern music crashed, but I'm going to tell you that the Lynyrd Skynyrd plane crash, the Tommy Caldwell death affected the demise of Southern music as much as anything. Because with no Lynyrd Skynyrd and basically no Marshall Tucker, because for whatever reason, Toy wasn't, he didn't write many songs anymore.
And he just extinguished his fire. Had to.
Yeah, for whatever. I mean, I don't know. That's the same time when the Allman Brothers broke up. Dicky and Greg couldn't see eye to eye. A lot of things were happening. So we kind of self-destructed ourselves, during that time. And gosh, it's terrible for all of us. But Marshall Tucker had a unique sound because it's country tinged, progressive, a lot of stuff from Bob Wills when you get to the actual sound of the guitars and whatnot. And just a writer of lyrics that, Toy said one time, like anybody who writes, you don't know where it comes from. You're just happy it does. It's just songs pop in there. It's being a writer's.
On your turn, you're on the bus, you're in a hotel room. That's what you do.
He wrote "Can't You See" a year before the band became a band. Had that song in the can for a year. And he said every other song he wrote on the bus or in a motel room.
That was the life. That was the life of them traveling.
Yeah. And he wrote some beautiful, beautiful songs.
he had pretty good structure there.
In the bus.
In the bus.
Yeah, just amazing. Now, the band continued to go on with different members, and I think, if I'm not sure, last time I knew, I saw them, or I didn't see them, but they were in St. Louis a few years ago when I was there, with Charlie Daniels, actually. And Doug Gray was still singing vocals for the band. So, he was carrying on.
It may have taken it upon himself.
Carrying on the spirit
to keep it going.
Of a great band. And so thank you, Doug Gray, and I'm wishing you well and continued success to keep spreading the word for this great band. And the thing about Doug Gray, you hear that voice, man, it's Marshall Tucker. Many people probably thought, well, that's Marshall Tucker right there. No, it's Doug Gray. But he's a Marshall Tucker band. And we talked about earlier where they got the name from. Marshall Tucker himself died a couple years ago at the age of 99. The actual piano tuner from Spartanburg, where they got their name.
Blind piano tuner, where they rented a hall there, that he was there. They rented a hall to do some
rehearsing,
and they were looking for a name. They needed a name for their band, and the key to the hall said Marshall Tucker, and that was the name of the piano tuner.
But I also dispute if he was really blind. If he was blind, why would they put his name on the key?
Now, that's something else to be talked about.
I'm thinking he wasn't blind, but I don't know that for sure. Another interesting connection with Skynyrd is it was at Greenville-Spartanburg Airport where the final flight took off.
That's true. The last concert.
So, pretty interesting, right? Anyway.
It comes back around.
Southern music, man. We're all connected.
All connected somehow.
We're all related. That's right. And that's what they all said. They were all brothers, the Outlaws, Skynyrd. I don't know. Anyway, good stuff tonight.
I tell you what, we love Marshall Tucker's sound.
Normally after our shows, I go out and listen to Give Me 3 Steps, but not tonight.
Marshall Tucker night, isn't it?
Tonight we're going to go listen to us some Toy Caldwell, right? I mean, yeah, I can't get enough of that either. They're on my playlist anyway, so we'll dig on that. Anything else on Marshall Tucker Band?
I think we pretty much covered what we could. It's very little out there to talk about, but that's some very popular music. Toy Caldwell, very, very good songwriter.
Not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but whatever.
We don't care.
Waylon Jennings wasn't it Waylon did one of his songs? Waylon did Can't You See? Right? Isn't that right?
I think he did really well with it.
Yeah, it's like 75. Anyway, if Waylon does a song, it's pretty good. Please keep commenting. Let us know what you know about Marshall Tucker, the stories of you seeing them at shows, Toy Caldwell stories, Tommy Caldwell, George McCorkle, whatever. Doug Gray, if you'd like to come visit us and be on the show, we'd love to have you on the show, man. We'd probably buy you lunch or something if you want to come visit with us. It'd be a lot of fun. And until next time, I reckon, right?
It's all about the comments, people. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and hit the subscribe button. We need to get 1,000 subscribers, so let's make it happen. Until next time, here on Skynyrd Shorts, we'll see you then.